and welcome back to another video. This week I'm continuing on from last week's project, which was making Lucy Gray's rainbow dress. In this episode I'm going to be making her blouse that she wears under the corset and the bloomers that she wears under the skirt. And if you want to see how I made the corset here, be sure to check up top and down below. I'll link last week's video so you don't miss it. And without any further ado, let's dive on into making the shirt and bloomers. For the blouse I'm using this 100% cotton Swiss dot fabric, which I'm attempting to dye this lovely lavender colour using these dyes from Rit. So the first thing I have to do is fill up my dye pot with 11.5 litres of water and get it simmering. Then I add the dye amounts according to the formula that I showed earlier in the video. Next I add a whole cup of salt. This will help the dye actually adhere to the fabric and so that the colour won't run out. Once the dye bath has come to a simmer, I then add my fabric, which has been pre-dampened, so this helps the dye adhere to it more evenly. I then begin to stir all of the fabric and continue stirring it for the next 30 minutes. So it's hard to tell in the lighting out here, but it 100% is a different colour. It is no longer stark white. It is now a lovely pale lavender shade. So while I'm waiting for this to dry, let's start on the bloomers. For the bloomers, I'm using the Simplicity pattern 1139. And for the fabric, I'm using a 100% calico cotton. And at this point, I haven't decided between these two laces for the bottom. And of course, the first step of any project is cutting out the pattern pieces. Next I mark any of the notions and then it is on to assembly. Alright, I've now reached the part of the pattern where I have to decide between these two laces to go along the bottom edge of the drawers here. So I'm going to put a poll up on my Instagram and come back in an hour's time, and whatever my followers have chosen, that is what we're going to go with because I cannot decide between the two of them. Alright, I took a break, I wrote out all of my Christmas cards. Let's check the poll. And as you can see here, it is overwhelmingly in favour of the larger lace, so let's attach it to the pants. Obviously they're not sewn up properly just yet, but I just wanted to check the length of the lace before I did so. So you guys can see. Oh wow, very nice. Alright, let's actually chuck on the waistband now and get them wearable. Jokes. We're actually going to re-sew the lace on this sleeve because I don't know if you can see, but there's a hole. Do you want to know how I did the hole? I had my iron set too high and then so go me. Oh, luckily I do have enough lace left to repair it, so let's do that first and then not make this mistake again. You know, for something this simple, I really shouldn't be making as many mistakes as I currently am. So I just sewed up the center front seam and did the little fold the edge over and sew it so it's all nice, right? Right, looks cool. But then you get down here and it's like, hey, what's going on? And it turns out they were inside out. They were inside out the whole time. So I'm going to stop sewing today because I am just doing silly willy things, and I will come back tomorrow when I've had a good night's sleep so that I stop wrecking things. Good morning. I would like to report that I slept well last night, but I in fact did not. Ironically enough, I was having dreams I was in the Hunger Games and they were not pleasant, and so I just kept waking up all last night. Anyway, I'm going to try and finish the pants today and hopefully get started on assembling the shirts, so let's try to do something today. After unpicking all of our mistakes from yesterday, we then assemble the pants correctly this time and move on to assembling the waistband. Ta-da! Pants are done. They are so rude, look. They're completely... Woo! Make sure that I wear clothing underneath them because we don't want that rudeness. Also, look at my shirt. I got it in the mail just now. Let me show you how long they are. Wow. We love these pants, just not that part. I don't love that. But here's how long they are. I might have to wake up the lace a bit, but I'll figure that out after I've actually made the skirt as well. But yeah, bloomers are done. So on to the shirt now. Now that the pants are done, it's on to the blouse. I'm using this vintage McCall 6530 pattern and the Swiss dot that we saw earlier, but this time it's dyed that lovely lavender. Alrighty, so for the sleeves of this shirt, I'm doing something different and completely new to me, and that is smocking. I even brought a whole brand new ruler for it. I'm very excited for this. Because this whole thing is completely new to me, I am going to be watching a YouTube tutorial on how to do it. I am watching one by Rosary Apparel, and apparently the stitch I'm wanting to do is called a wave stitch. So the first thing I need to do is I need to calculate how much fabric I need in the sleeve so it can fit around my wrist when it is smocked. Luckily, Rosary Apparel has linked a very helpful yardage calculator in this video description, so I'm going to go figure that out now, do some maths, oh my god, and then hopefully I can come back to you with the sleeves cut out and ready for smocking. Once you understand the size of the pleat you want to make, you can calculate the number of pleats it takes to make a compressed width of 1 inch of fabric. Where calculate the number of pleats per inch to determine the number of pleats across the finished width of the material. Oh my god, this is where it loses me. Why can't they just have a calculator like the circle skirt calculator? This is... I don't know how many pleats go into 1 inch of fabric. Oh my god. I'll be back soon. I don't recommend using that website. They need to just write a formula in it rather than all the mealy word that they had done. It was awful. I had to get Cameron in to help me decipher what was actually written. Anyway, this is what I've come up with. My wrist measurement is 6.5 inches. I'm going to do 1/4 inch pleats, which means 1/2 inch of fabric in each pleat. It takes 20 pleats to make up an inch of compressed fabric, so then you times the wrist measurement by the pleats per inch measurement. That gives you 130, so it's going to take 130 pleats total to make up the wrist, and then you times that number by 0.5, which gives you the inch measurement that you need to cut for the sleeve. In this case, mine is 65, so let's pray this works.
The first thing I'm doing is actually cutting out the sleeve pattern, and I know I said 65 inches before, but I ended up halving it because I felt like that was far too much fabric. Anyway, after the sleeves were cut, I then marked out where the smocking needed to go, and I did it wrong here, so in this next clip...
Just for reference, this is what the dots are meant to look like, so they're actually a 1/4 inch space, and there's 7 rows of them.
After all the dots were drawn, I then began the long and tedious process of threading thread through every other dot to create the lines of pleating.
Now for the satisfying part.
With all the pleating pleated, it's now on to the smocking time. So I'm using these colours embroidery thread, and I basically just followed that tutorial that I mentioned earlier, which I'll link down in the comment below, and spent a lot of time smocking. It turns out alright, I promise.
Sleeves are kind of done. I finished the smocking, which looks absolutely beautiful. It took me 3 High School Musicals to get through. Not just the first one repeated, but like 1, 2, and 3. That's how long it took to get to this point. So now all I have left to do for the actual shirt is to sew the front to the back, attach the sleeves, put the elastic through the neckline, and then put a rolled overlocked edge on the cuffs, the neck, and the bottom. And ta-da! It is done! So, how about I try on pirate shirt with weirdo pants, and we'll see how it all looks together. And there you have it, that is how I made Lucy Gray's bloomers and blouse. Now obviously in the reveal video just now I didn't want to wear the bloomers because they're a little bit, not PG, let's just put it that way. But I mean, you saw how they looked earlier in the video, and yeah, no change really. The shirt though, absolutely love it. It's so fun and billowy and whimsical. I haven't had a chance to wash the water erasable pen out of it yet, but I'll do that when I do the big final reveal. But yeah, absolutely love it. It's so comfy, it's so light, it's the perfect shade of purple. It just, yeah, came together really well. The only little qualm that I have with it though is that I think my sleeves are a fraction more billowy than hers are, but honestly I don't mind. It just means it's more comfortable for me to wear. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. I'm super excited with how this is all coming together. Remember last week I made the corset, and next week I will be making the final part, which is the skirt. So make sure you stick around and subscribe if you want to see how that gets done too. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching. It means so much to me. If you really like what you saw here today, consider maybe liking the video, leaving a comment, and if you really liked it, be sure to subscribe as well. I do a lot of sewing, crafting and fun related things here on this channel, and I usually try and upload every weekend or so. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye!